motivation. And in worldly life, much of our motivation is centered around security, trying to be secure either emotionally or financially, in terms of our job, in terms of our social status. We're always looking for some kind of security, something that will not change, so that we do not feel threatened in any sort of way. And finding that security is basically impossible if we're seeking it in samsaric things. Why? Because first, samsaric things are changing in every nanosecond. They're disappearing all the time. And second, they're under the control of afflictions and karma. So they're operating, their basic underlying operation is something based on wrong conceptions and corruption. So when we are looking for security, we need to turn to the three jewels and think, what does security mean in terms of the three jewels? Does it mean that when I'm in trouble, I think if I pray to the Buddha will sweep down and stop the bad situation or lift me out of it? Now, what does seeking security in our refuge really mean? So this is an important question to ponder that we'll be discussing more. And we will go to the depths of the mind, really investigating this, so that we can free our mind from ignorance, free it from self-centeredness, and become a fully awakened Buddha. Let that be our motivation today. So I could see yesterday when we had the discussion group about money, there was some anxiety. Yeah, some anxiety. If I don't have enough money, whether I'm a layperson or whether I'm a monastic, what will happen to me? Yeah. And so that very strong grasping at security. But do you see how that grasping at security in samsara is a fruitless pursuit? because there is no security in samsara. Why? Because, like I just said, everything's changing all the time. We can't nail anything down and say, okay, I finally got it. It's going to be like this. It's steady. It's never going to change. Forget that, because things are changing every nanosecond. And also, all of worldly existence is underlain by afflictions and karma. Afflictions and karma are based on ignorance. How is anything good going to come from something based on ignorance? How can something based on ignorance provide us with genuine security? So this is a very important question, to really ask, because it's involved with having the motivation of renunciation. That's important to have if you want to ordain. And it really points out to us, where do I find security? Because people started thinking, oh, maybe I need to work some more years and get a certain amount of money and then ordain after I can have a certain amount of money so that I know that I'm secure and my old age will be taken care of and my health expenses will be taken care of and I won't be out on the street. But the difficulty with that is there's never an amount that makes you feel secure, because you can always use some more. Even the richest people on this planet continue making money, don't they? They have more money than they could already spend. And they continue making more because they need to be more secure. So they don't even feel secure, even though they have tons of money. So what do we really look for protection and for security? Do we take refuge in money, or do we take refuge in the 3 jewels? When we're old, when our body is decrepit, if we live that long, we're going to have a decrepit old body. No, we're not going to be attractive. Nobody's going to want to look at us. We're going to keep falling and tripping and forgetting what we were saying. We're not going to be the stars of the party because we're young and attractive and with the new with it generation. We're going to be the kind of people that, in ancient society they would respect, but in modern society you're a has-been. You're the ones that are draining Medicare, draining Social Security, making it difficult for the new generations because they have to support all of us. So when you're like that, what's going to make you happy? Is having a lot of money in your bank account going to really bring you the security you want? It might get you a bed in a very nice nursing home, which is certainly better than the horrible nursing homes. But when you're an old person, what is the source of your happiness going to be? Is it going to be having nice, crisp, white sheets on your nursing home bed? Or is it going to be having a mind that can exchange self and others and generate compassion? Is your security going to come from having your relatives come and visit you in your nursing home so that you have nice, pretty flowers every week, because they bring you pretty flowers. So all your nursing home friends come and admire your pretty flowers and tell you how lucky you are because you have your family members coming to visit you every week? Or is that going to be your refuge? Or is your refuge going to be understanding emptiness? Yeah. So we have to think, what is going to be our source of security? What is going to be our source of joy when our body is old and decrepit? Because depending on what we say is the source of that security and joy, that's what we need to cultivate right now. So if you think your security and happiness is going to come from having all your relatives come and visit you, then cultivate that now and have a family life. And make sure that you're close to all those people so that when you move into the nursing home, they'll come visit you. Yeah. If you think that your happiness and joy is going to come from having compassion or wisdom, then cultivate those now. Yeah. Because what we do now is setting the stage for what happens later. I remember when all the people, when I would meet Christians, and they would always say, even on your deathbed, if you say Jesus is your Savior, then everything's changed and you're definitely going to heaven. So you can live a rotten life, and one moment before you die, you declare your faith in Jesus and you go to heaven. Okay. Buddhism says we are creatures of habit. Yeah. Every time we do something, we put that imprint of that action deeper and deeper in our mind. So depending on how we live, that's going to be what we think about and what occupies our mind when we're in the death process. Yeah. So it's not a thing of, the kindest thing you can do to somebody is get them to become a Buddhist 2 minutes before they die. Because that's not going to happen. Yeah. We are creatures of habit. And especially at that time of death where, the mind becomes quite, stuck in many ways, or it could become quite stuck. Yeah, we have to see what our mind is going to be stuck on. Yeah, and so that's depending on what we do now. It's not depending on what we do 2 minutes before death and suddenly we're going to purify all of our karma and decide. Yeah. Okay? So to really think, when you're old, what is going to bring you joy and what is going to bring you security? Yeah. Is having a comfortable body what you want when you're old, or is having a comfortable mind going to be more important to you? And depending on what that is, then you choose what you're doing now so that you can create the causes for the outcome you want. So something to think about very, very deeply. Yeah. So that we feel comfortable with what our choice is. So that you don't get to the time when you're in that nursing home, with your crisp white sheets and your fresh flowers, and your mind is, terribly unhappy because your body's a mess. You don't want to get to that point and say, oh, I should have. cultivated the Dharma. So, something important to think about. And it really, it makes you feel very uncomfortable, doesn't it? It should make you feel uncomfortable. If you don't feel uncomfortable, then we're not really getting what the question is. Yeah? But just to even look, when you're sick in this life, even you have a cold or you have the flu, and you're going to get better, yeah? What's going on in your mind while you're lying in your bed? Yeah? Is it, I'm so fed up with being sick, I want to get up. When is lunchtime? Oh, they brought lunch, but they didn't bring what I like. Yeah. They're walking down the hall so loud and I'm trying to sleep. Don't they know I'm sick? Oh, my nose hurts, my back hurts, everything hurts. Is that what goes on in your mind when you're sick? Yeah. If that's what's occupying your mind when you're sick, with the cold or the flu, what's going to go on in your mind when you're dying and you have to separate from this body altogether? Yeah. So we need to think about this, and especially practice when we're sick. And to practice when we're sick, we have to practice when we're well. Because it's much easier to practice when we're well. Yeah? So, all this attachment to the body, we've got to work with it while we're well. And not just think, I'm not really attached to my body. Or, I'm a little bit attached, but when I'm really, sick, I'll just throw the attachment away, it's no problem. Yeah. I really like my crisp sheets, but, when I'm old, I won't really care. Yeah. If you think you won't care when you're old, why are you caring now? Yeah. Okay, so a little follow-up from the discussion yesterday. So, where were we? So we talked about, according to Shakyamuni Buddha's teachings, the 5 bodies of the Buddha are accomplished by depending upon a teacher whom one should serve sincerely. Okay. Then there's the next section here where you go and you kneel before the Acharya. And the Acharya, the instructor, gives you a talk. Okay, so it starts out, it's quite long, so I'll go back and forth in it. Son or daughter of a good family. So, good family, Buddhist family. You will now have your head shaved and leave your family. What? What? My head shaved? Leave my family? But. Okay. So when I was a little girl, there was a hairstyle called a ducktail. Do you remember the ducktails? So your hair was very short, and then it had a little thing in the back. Well, I was walking down the street with my mom one day, and somebody put their hand on my head and rubbed it and said, "Hi, Sonny." And I was so offended. You thought I was a boy just because I had a ducktail haircut? So from then on, I vowed I was going to have long hair. My mother didn't always agree, but when I got old enough to control the length of my hair, I had long hair. And it was, and this was the 60s, 70s, where your hair was your status symbol. So actually, everybody was supposed to have long, straight, blonde hair. And I had short, curly, dark hair. Oh, well. Anyway, at least I could get the long part after a while. So I was very attached to my hair. Very attached. And, when I came to really see this during the very first Dharma course I attended. And I thought, wow, cutting off my hair, I could never do that. Because this was my, I told you it was beautiful hair. And I could never, how could I ever cut that off? So I did a lot of meditation on death. Imagining my body in the coffin with my long, beautiful hair, and people walking by and saying, oh, she had such beautiful hair. And I thought, how is that going to benefit me when I die? Yeah. How is my beautiful hair going to benefit me when I die? So doing that meditation long enough was what finally enabled me when I was at Kopan to cut my hair. I was still a layperson. Yeah, I cut my hair. I walked into the meditation hall afterwards. My husband was there. He was pretty surprised. Like, yeah? But it really took a lot of work on my own part to cut my hair. And then, it says, and leave your family. Leave my family, but my family's my security. That's what people think. Isn't your family your security? When you get sick, okay, your friends may forget about you, but your family is there. If you go broke, you can rely on your family. Yeah. Your family always has your back. If you're stuck somewhere and you need some money, you can call your family. Yeah. And here you're leaving your family. So it doesn't mean you're no longer somebody's son, daughter, mother, sister, brother, whatever it is, okay? But it means you're creating a different kind of relationship with your family. Yeah. And so instead of your family having your back, the Dharma has your back. Instead of taking refuge in your family when you're upset and insecure, you take refuge in the Dharma. Yeah. So if we look, our family and our friends, those are the people that are supposed to love us no matter what. Yeah. And especially in romantic relationships and close friendships where, those are the people that you've chosen to be with. They're the people that you really count on. And now you're saying, bye, you're not my refuge anymore. You're not my refuge anymore. Because we took refuge in all those people, didn't we? When we were upset, talking about your talk, when we didn't get enough praise, when we felt bad about ourselves, when we got criticized, who did we turn to? What did we do to feel better? Yeah? we mostly look to our friends and our family because they love us and they will say nice things about us and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. They're with us, even if the rest of the world is against us. Yeah. Isn't that what true love is? Isn't that what we hear about on the radio? True love, that us against the world, and we will support each other even when the world is against us. And then what happens? Is that secure? Yeah. Yeah. Your parents die. Your brothers and sisters get mad at you because you didn't do something they wanted. Your kids grow up and have their own life. Maybe they come visit you when they need their laundry done. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. So, what kind of relationship are we going to have with the rest of our family and with our old friends? Okay. So here, it's saying you're going to shave your head, which means you're not going to care about what you look like. Yeah. People always ask, why do you shave your head? Yeah. To overcome our vanity. Yeah. It symbolizes cutting off ignorance, anger, and attachment. But it also overcomes our vanity because let's face it, we first of all look better when we have hair. But second of all, our hair, people take so much time to take care of their hair. Look at all the beauty products on the market that have to do with hair. To dye it this color or that color, to straighten it if it's curly, to curl it if it's straightened. You have shampoo, you have conditioner. And this isn't just the women, it's the guys too. When you start getting gray hair, the guys, then, now they're dyeing it. They don't want to be seen having gray hair. Okay? So what our hair looks like is a sign of our physical attractiveness. And society keeps telling us we have to be attractive and sexy to be valuable. Especially women. We can talk all we want about equal whatever, but you can have all the equality what you want. Equality is great, but at the bottom of the bottom line is you've got to be beautiful and sexy. Otherwise, you are not worthwhile. Yeah. And the women buy into this too. Yeah. So you've not only got to be, the company manager or this or that, but you've got to have the right figure and the right hair color and the right makeup and look young and sexy and attractive and all of that. And the guys, too, have a lot of social pressure, whatever you got to look like. Yeah? So for the guys, oh, I wish I were taller. Or you're very tall. Oh, I wish I were shorter. Oh, I wish I had more muscles. Oh, I wish I wasn't so bulky. Oh, everybody dissatisfied with their body. Yeah, so you're shaving off your head. You're putting on these fantastic robes from Saks Fifth Avenue that really make you look excellent. Yeah. And what you're saying is, if people are going to like me, it's not going to be because of how I look. It's going to be because of what I am inside. So if I don't look nice, too bad. I'm busy cultivating what's inside here. So if people look at me like I just came off the moon, that's okay. One time I was walking down the street in Singapore, and somebody was driving past me, and I happened to turn up as he was driving. and he's driving like this. You know? One time I went into, somebody had invited me for lunch, Donna, and we went into somewhere and they said, "Do you realize how many people are looking at you?" I said, "No, I've been ordained so long I don't even notice that anymore." You know? So, yeah. So you're gonna shave your head and leave your family. So all the security from your family. Doesn't matter your family's dysfunctional. Yeah. They're my family. Yeah. Until they die, or you die, or you have a really big blowout. Because who do you have the worst blowouts with? Family members or acquaintances? Yeah. Who are the people you vow never to speak to again as long as you live? Because they've been so awful. Friends or family? Okay, so, just to check up, what does family really mean to us? Okay, why are we so attached to them? Well, because we're blood relatives. That means that you have similar genes. What are genes? If you saw your genes here and one of your family members' genes there, are you able to tell that they have similarities? Can you tell? I don't even know what a gene looks like. I know what a drawing of a gene looks like. Are they big enough you could see them with your own eye? No, you have to see them under a microscope. Electron microscope, know that. Yeah? We have the same genes. So what are genes made out of? Chemicals. So we have similar chemicals. Well, actually, we have similar chemicals with all the other living beings on this planet. And in terms of genes, they said we have, 99.9% of the genes are the same, that, between us and any other person, no matter where they live. Most of the genes are the same. So what's the big deal about having similar genes and having your nitrogen and carbon arranged in a similar way on 0.1% of your body? Yeah? When you really think of it, it's stupid, isn't it? It's stupid. Now, on a conventional level, having society arranged by families, that's good, and I will encourage that on a conventional level, because it's certainly better than children not having a family and not being raised with parents and so on. So I think families are great in terms of, just having a cohesive society. But when we talk about becoming a Buddha, our interest is no longer in cohesive societies. Our interest is in cutting ignorance, anger, and attachment. Okay? So it's an interesting thing to ask ourselves, why? Why do I favor family members? Why do I trust family members more than others? Why do I think they're always going to stand up for me? That hasn't been my experience, but I've had an unusual family experience. Yeah? Maybe it's unusual. Yeah. So, you are now going to have your head shaved and leave your family. You should generate an expansive mind. Okay, you should generate an expansive mind. It doesn't say you should generate a mind that feels so sad that you're leaving everything behind that you really care for and turn to for security. It doesn't say that. It says you should have an expansive mind. Look up to the Buddha as the exemplar and proceed on the Buddhist path. So what's important in your life now? You're looking up to the Buddha. He's your role model. You're progressing on the Buddhist path. That's what's important to you now. It's not keeping the family together, making sure everybody gets along, getting involved in all of your family dramas, making sure this one's speaking to that one and that one's speaking to the other one. Yeah, coordinating 4th of July barbecues, Christmas parties, Thanksgiving turkeys. Oy vey, I'm having a Thanksgiving and someone's vegetarian. What are we going to do? You know? So, you know, that is no longer what we're interested in. Okay? We're looking up to the Buddha as our exemplar and proceeding on the Buddhist path. Family dramas, leave to the family. Okay? As a monastic, it's very important that you know, like I said, you're still sons, daughters, sisters, brothers, you know, you still talk to them from time to time, but you do not get involved in family dramas. Because if you get involved in a family drama, your body is at the monastery, your mind is with the family. And what happens in family dramas? You worry. Yeah? You worry. What's going to happen to my brother, sister, child, parent? What's going to happen? What can I do? What's going on? How should I intervene? I've got to control the situation. Yeah? They depend on me. I am really important in that family. Oh, maybe that's why there's some attachment. I'm really important. They really need me. If I'm not there, the whole thing's going to fall apart. Yeah? So there's a family drama. I've got to go and intervene and fix it. Yeah? I am Mr. or Ms. Fix It. Yeah? And going to get rid of that family drama. Make it all okay. They're all going to do what I say. Okay, look up to the Buddha as the exemplar and proceed on the Buddhist path. Look down to regard sentient beings and educate them. Look down to regard sentient beings. They're sentient beings under the influence of afflictions and karma. They're ignorant sentient beings who do not know how things exist. Yeah. They're not beings to take refuge in. Because their minds are all tangled up with ignorance, anger, and attachment. Okay? So look down to regard sentient beings. Look down doesn't mean that, I'm now a monastic and I'm looking down on you because you guys aren't Buddhist and you're such slobs. It doesn't mean that. Yeah. It means that as a monastic, at this point in the ceremony, you aren't one yet, but going to be soon, you see that you have a responsibility to sentient beings. So it's not a thing of I'm better looking down at all these people who are lost. It's, I have a responsibility. Yeah. And so what is my responsibility? To educate them. So it doesn't mean setting up kindergartens, or tutoring things. It means to educate them in the Dharma. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you go home with your Dharma book and, you go back to your family. It's not home anymore. And you put down your Dharma book and you say, okay, mom, dad, sis, bro, son, daughter, first point, there's 3 principles of the path, and the first one is this, and the second one is this, and the third one is this. I'm educating you. No, that's not the way you educate them. Take out the garbage. It works much better. Because that shows them that you've changed. Because you've never taken the garbage out before. Yeah? Okay, if you practice like this, the Buddhas will descend, bless you, and cause Dharma nectar to flow into your mind so that you will have the seed of awakening forever. Is that what you want to happen? The Buddhas will descend, bless you, and cause the Dharma nectar to flow into your mind so that you will have the seed of awakening forever. I'd much rather have that than a good family dinner. Yeah? So, how do we practice? What do we do? Okay? Practice diligently. Leave behind mundane worries. Boy, we should take this one out and put that on our computer screen. Leave behind mundane worries. Because those worries are only the problem of this life. When it said earlier, to have an expansive mind, that means instead of seeing ourselves as I am this person embedded in this family, social group, country with certain roles and certain identities, no, it means you drop all of those identities. You have an expansive mind. What am I really? A continuity of consciousness that gets reborn again and again and again and again under the influence of afflictions and karma. So I am not this person with this nationality and this gender and this religion and this family and blah, blah, blah. That's not who I am. That's some kind of ego construct of one life. But we're not talking about one life and who we are now. We're talking about the big picture. And what's the big picture about? It's about, a continuum of consciousness that has the Buddha nature, a mere I that has the Buddha nature, but is afflicted by ignorance and karma. Yeah. So if that's basically what I am, then I've got to live with that awareness. So if that's, I'm not this person with this name and this role, and it's just a continuity of consciousness with this potential and all this garbage on it, then what's important to do? Get rid of the garbage, develop the potential. Yeah. This life happens to be the playground for doing that for a few years, but we are not who we think we are in this life. Okay? So to not get attached to all those different identities, here I am in the family and my role in the family is to do X, Y, Z. And yeah, that's not who I am. Yeah. I'm not this person. They can insult all they want, because this life, this identity of this life, what they say, it's like a lightning flash. When you compare to beginningless time, this life is like that long. It's not long at all. It's not worth getting stuck in this is who I am and this is what I've got to do, and otherwise, they're saying have an expansive mind. Yeah, see your potential. See other sentient beings' potential. Help them. Yeah. But, don't worry about what college your kid goes to and what grades your kindergartner got. Yeah. This kind of stuff, leave behind mundane worries. Because our mundane worries, they're only worries for how long? Yeah? Yesterday I was so worried because there was so much pollution in the air, so much smoke. Today, much less smoke. Was it worthwhile spending time and energy worrying about having so much smoke in the air? No, there's nothing I could do about it anyway. Okay? So, if you look every day at what your mind latches onto to worry about, to be anxious about, to feel insecure about, and then you look at the next day, it's usually a new thing. Yeah, what you were stuck on yesterday, you're not stuck on today. Every once in a while, it lasts a bit longer. Yeah? But it's still something come, go, go. Yeah. Yeah. So he insulted you one day. Came, it went. What happens is when we hang on to it and we replay what that person said. I think the example of somebody insulting us is very good because we've all had that experience, haven't we? Some family member, somebody just insulting us, and we replay it. They said this to me, they said that about me, they called me this, they called me that. Is it true? Is it not true? I wonder how many people think that I'm like that. No, it's not true. Why are they doing this to me? Should I believe them? Should I not believe them? They're always making things up. That's why I didn't want to be with them to start with. But then they said this about me, and maybe there's some truth in it, and I should listen. And, I've known all along that I'm really so defective. I'm just like a catastrophe. Everything they said is right. And we think about this. We ruminate, Like, remember those old records? You remember the old 45 records? Yeah, that they would just... You scratch them a little bit and it's the same thing again and again. Yeah, and you just hope it's your favorite part of the song. And it's all made up in our mind. They say something once and then we go, we make ourselves miserable. Yeah, so when it's saying, leave behind mundane worries, that's pretty fun. Yeah, we don't need to keep replaying them. Okay, practice diligently, leave behind mundane worries. Where was this when I was 6 years old? I needed that advice then. Okay, dedicate the good deeds of bowing and doing recitations to your parents. Okay, so how are you going to relate to your family members now? You're going to dedicate the merit from doing prostrations, making offerings, doing your various meditations. This is how you repay their kindness. This is how you relate. You create merit and you dedicate for them. Okay? Then next comes the country. How are you going to repay the kindness of your country? Because, the country has also been kind to us. It says, repay the kindness of your country by means of the merit created by practicing. So again, a new definition of patriotism. Yeah? How do you be patriotic? Repay the kindness of your country by means of the merit created by practicing. So we dedicate it for the welfare of the country. For this reason, this one text says, transmigrating within the three realms, one is not able to cut off attachment and bonds, give up attachment, and enter nirvana. Okay? So this is what is actually, we chant this. So we chant it. Okay. So this is migrating in the three realms. One is not able to give attachment, give up attachment, and enter nirvana. That is the true way to repay kindness. So there's a lot of meaning in that, what we chant. Okay? Transmigrating in the three realms, desire, form, and formless realms. So we're transmigrating. We're going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So while we're going up and down, developing these identities, trying to get what we want, trying to get rid of what we don't like, one is not able to sever attachment. Yeah. Especially having this kind of body, it's so difficult to give up attachment because our body has physical needs, which are legit physical needs. But then on top of that, we put on attachment to the body and to the needs. Okay? So while we're transmigrating in the three realms, one is not able to sever attachment. So give up attachment and enter nirvana. Let's stop the clinging and craving once and for all and enter nirvana. Yeah, we've done everything in samsara already, many times, up and down in samsara. Yeah, let's try practicing and entering nirvana this time. And that is the true way to repay kindness. Generating spiritual realizations is how you will really repay the kindness of other people. Because when we don't have realizations, we may want to help, but we don't know how to help wisely. Yeah. This is when you were saying being codependent. Yeah, you want to help, but you don't know how to help wisely, so you turn into enabling. Yeah. And you keep the person you're trying to help stuck in their thing because you're supporting it in one way or another. When you keep rescuing somebody, then they have no reason to try and grow up themselves because they know that you're going to come and rescue them. Yeah. So the real way to repay kindness, sever attachment and enter nirvana. But this is non-abiding nirvana. It's not the nirvana of an arhat. It's the nirvana of a Buddha. Okay? Because as Buddhas, we want to be able to emanate many, many bodies and really be of great benefit to others. Okay? So that is the true repayment of kindness to your parents, teachers, relatives, friends, fellow citizens of the planet, and all sentient beings. So this is showing when you become a monastic, you're giving up the household life, but it doesn't mean that you're shunning sentient beings. Okay? Giving up attachment doesn't mean that you no longer have relationships with sentient beings. Because everywhere we go on this planet, we're in relationship to all sentient beings. So how do we make that a good relationship, a useful relationship? Okay? Giving up attachment, entering nirvana, dedicating all the merit we create for the benefit of these people, and then using our wisdom and compassion and power as much as we can, skillfully, to actually guide them in the Dharma. Yeah. That's the best way to help other sentient beings. And that's how the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are trying to help us, too. Yeah. They say, the Buddha's speech is the chief way that the Buddha helps sentient beings. It's by teaching us the Dharma, because by learning the Dharma and practicing it, then we free ourselves. Okay? So we still have a relationship with all the other sentient beings, but this is the new relationship. This is how we relate to them now. Okay? One should know that those who go forth from household life to homeless life transcend worldly emotions and become the merit field of the world. Okay. Those who go forth from household life to homeless life transcend worldly emotions. Okay. It doesn't mean you transcend them on the first day of your ordination, or even in the second year, or even in the 5th lifetime, or the 10th eon. Okay, it's going to take time, but we are dedicated to going in that direction. In other words, when worldly emotions arise, instead of jumping in behind them and saying, these are my worldly emotions, this is my anguish, this is my beauty, this is my emotion, because some of us are really attached to our emotions. Okay? We recognize, we train our mind to recognize this is a worldly emotion. Okay, my mind might be stuck in it right now, but this emotion is based on misconception. This emotion, when I'm angry, when I'm hurt, when I'm resentful, when I'm greedy, when I'm longing, when I feel rejected, even though rejected isn't a feeling, when I feel abandoned, which also isn't a feeling, but when you feel it, we all know what that means. You know, that is based on misconception. That is based on ignorance. Yeah. So you gain some distance from your emotions this way, instead of just being completely stuck in them, and my emotions are me, and I feel this emotion and I can't get rid of it because it's me and I felt it my whole life and it's strangling me, but it's all I know and I have lots of good reasons for it. You know, because this happened when I was 2, and that happened when I was 3, and that happened when I was 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. And, you know, and I have all these reasons for this emotion. So this emotion is the only possible way to respond to the horrible events of my life. Yeah? So instead of that, we say, this is a worldly emotion based on ignorance. It's not who I am. It's not the only way anybody in my situation can possibly feel. This emotion is not me, not I, not myself. It's just a blip of energy in the mind. So, yes, it's helpful to understand the conditioning that led to this emotion, because understanding conditioning shows you that something is a dependent arising. Knowing that it's a dependent arising, then you come to appreciate that it lacks inherent existence. But when we think our emotions are not dependent arising, and that they are there underneath the surface, made of concrete, ready to, you know, my inner rage is always there, only now it's suppressed. But give me a chance and it's going to go, ah! You know, as long as we view ourselves that way, you know, then, you know, who's running the show? Not our wisdom mind. Not our wisdom mind. Okay? So it's useful to see, okay, what conditioning happened in my life that contributed to this emotion. But maybe some of the conditioning of this emotion came from past life. Maybe I was very familiar with this kind of worldview, this way of looking at things in a past life, and I just merely imported it to this life. Yeah. Maybe like last life, my self-image was, I'm unworthy. So this life, same self-image, I'm unworthy. But now there's different conditioning factors that prove to myself that I'm unworthy. Last life I had some conditioning factors. This one, but different conditioning things. People say different things, but the same conditioning, the same habit energy. Yeah, just kind of came along with the mere eye from one lifetime to the next. But it is not who I am. And I don't have to continue to be this way. Yeah. So I can look at it, I can unpack it, I can put it down. And the more we get used to really seeing with our wisdom how the thoughts that are supporting that emotion are false, the more we can see how we're making the story behind the emotion and see that story is false, then the easier it becomes just to release the emotion. Yeah. When we really think the story's true, then it's so difficult because then we're stuck in the story. Yeah. But if we see the story is just my mind writing a drama starring me. Yeah. And I find it, because we all know our dramas starring me are incredibly important and incredibly painful. Yeah. But then I stop and I think, what's it like for some kid growing up in Syria? The conditioning they're having growing up in Syria, the conditioning I had as a child. Yeah. They're pretty different, aren't they? They're pretty different. How would I function if I had the conditioning of that kid growing up in Syria? When I really think of it, then, okay, yeah, I had some unpleasant conditioning growing up as a kid, but it's nothing like that kid growing up in Syria. Yeah, nothing like it. So, that gives me, when I think like that, that gives me some space from the very strong emotions. Yeah. Gives me some space, like it's just conditioning. I survived it. Compared to other people's conditioning, mine's nothing. So why not look at the glass that's half full instead of the glass that's half empty? Because it's the same glass, and I can choose which way I want to look at it. Yeah. So it's not poo-pooing our own suffering. It's not telling ourselves what I'm feeling is wrong and bad. It's just placing that within a broader context. Putting it in a broader context. And I find that helps me. Those who go forth from household life to homeless life. So you go forth. It means that, at least for me, one of the major things I had to do was learn how to become responsible for my own emotional well-being. Yeah. Because before I ordained, when I was unhappy, I looked to my friends. Yeah. I looked to those people, and they were kind, and they loved me, and they supported me, and they praised me. And, and now all of a sudden, I have to become responsible for myself and manage things myself. And I remember walking, being in Kathmandu and seeing the young couples, hippie couples, walk by with their arms around each other and going, oh, I remember what that felt like. That was so nice. And then I would say, and I also remember what that felt like when it wasn't so nice. Yeah. And then I realized, I have to learn how to take care of my own emotional well-being. Yeah. Because that's my responsibility. It's not my friend's responsibility. It's mine. Yeah. Okay? So those who go forth from household life to homeless life transcend worldly emotions gradually. It takes a lot of hard work. And become the field of merit of the world. Then we become somebody who, because of our realizations, other people can create merit with. Yeah. So instead of being a person that other people only create anger and hurt feelings with, we become a person that other people can create merit with. Instead of being a person that other people just get attached to, yeah, we become a symbol of liberation for them. Okay? So, the Acharya is talking to you at this point and just really saying, you have to give up this, but look what's coming your way if you do. Yeah, look what you can become. Look at the new way you can relate to yourself, relate to your family, relate to friends, relate to the country, relate to all sentient beings.